Imagine, for just a second, that you have all the money and power in the world. I mean, you live in a massive estate, you command absolute authority in your town. People literally tremble when you walk into a room.
Right, you're essentially untouchable.
Exactly, untouchable. But despite all that power, not a single person will wash your clothes. Nobody will pour your milk. The local barber absolutely refuses to cut your hair.
Oh man, that is bleak.
It gets worse. No one, and I mean absolutely no one, will marry into your family. Your entire bloodline is just, well, effectively quarantined by the community.
Oh.
And here's the craziest part of the whole thing. All of this happens not because a judge banged a gavel and sent you to prison, but because of one single deadly mistake you made. A mistake you were absolutely certain you got away with.
It really is the ultimate nightmare scenario. You know, you are completely surrounded by people living in the middle of a bustling society, yet you are entirely, suffocatingly alone.
It's a terrifying concept, and today we're going to unpack exactly how a person falls from the absolute heights of legal power into that kind of total social erasure.
It's a fascinating journey.
It really is. But first, a very quick, humble welcome to all of you joining us here on the Simplified Summary YouTube channel. We are incredibly grateful you've chosen to spend your time with us today.
Absolutely.
If you enjoy exploring the hidden depths of classic stories like this one, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share your valuable comments down below. Your support is the engine that actually helps this channel grow.
It really is. And honestly, the insights you all leave in the comments constantly give us new ways to look at these texts. I love reading them.
Same here. So let's get into it. Today's deep dive focuses on a single masterful source. We are looking at the classic Hindi short story called Dand.
Which translates to the punishment, right?
Right, the punishment. Written by the legendary author Premchand, and this is from the Mansarovar Part 3 collection. Now, if you follow South Asian literature at all, you already know Premchand is just an absolute giant.
Oh, definitely. A towering figure.
But our mission today isn't just to recap a plot you might already be familiar with. We are going to dig into the hidden mechanics of this story. We really want to explore the chilling friction between the laws written in heavy British-era legal books and the unwritten ancient laws of society.
Which is such a massive theme.
Yeah. We're looking at how true justice is sometimes delivered completely outside the walls of a courtroom.
Which brings us directly to the central figure of the narrative, Mr. G. Sinha. To really understand that friction you're talking about, we have to understand exactly what Sinha represents.
Right. Let's set up who this guy is. So Mr. G. Sinha is a joint magistrate. The sources describe him as having this imposing, almost deity-like physical presence.
He was a big deal.
A very big deal. He is a strict, unbending man who adheres tightly to the exact letter of the law. And crucially, he is openly atheistic. Like, he prides himself on being a man of pure, cold rationality.
Yeah, he views himself as a deeply modern man, entirely above the superstitious fears and the communal ties that govern the lives of all the everyday people around him.
Right. He thinks he's above it all.
He does. He represents the sterile, imported legal apparatus of the state. And because of that, he has this massive reputation for being fiercely incorruptible.
And the story actually gives us a really great demonstration of this right up front. A wealthy man named Satyadev approaches Sinha and tries to bribe him to sway a legal case.
Oh yeah, the guinea scene.
Yeah. So Satyadev offers him 10 guineas. Now, for those who might not know, guineas were British gold coins. They were a major status symbol and a very high-value currency at the time.
Right, so this isn't just a casual bribe. It's a substantial, wealthy man's bribe.
Exactly, and Sinha proudly, indignantly rejects it. He flat out tells Satyadev that he only takes, quote, the reward of truth, and he basically throws him out.
It's such a calculated display. I mean, he establishes himself as a man whose integrity absolutely cannot be bought by the local elites. He proves he is the undisputed master of the legal domain.
But then the script completely flips. Enter Jagat Pandey. Now, Pandey is the exact opposite of the wealthy Satyadev. He is an old, ragged, incredibly poor Brahmin.
Total opposite end of the spectrum.
Right. And he approaches the magistrate because he has a legal dispute against a man referred to as Lala Sahab.
Just to clarify the social dynamics here, what does Lala Sahab imply in this context?
Well, a lala in this era typically refers to someone from the wealthy merchant or moneylender class.
Okay.
So immediately, Premchand is setting up this massive power disparity. You have a completely destitute Brahmin farmer going up against a wealthy, highly influential local businessman.
And Pandey is fighting for a 10 Beethan land claim. Now, a bia varies by region, but 10 bias is a sizable chunk of agricultural land. It's huge for a poor farmer.
Yeah, for a guy like Pandey, that's enough land to sustain his entire family for the year. It's literally his livelihood. But legally speaking, Pandey's case is incredibly weak. He just doesn't have the paperwork or the legal standing to win in Sinha's strict, rational courtroom.
And, Pandey knows this. He absolutely knows the written law is a game designed for men like Lala Sahab. It's not designed for him. So, driven by just sheer absolute desperation, he tries to play the only card he thinks he has left.
He takes a small bundle of money. It's worth about 150 rupees. Now, contrast that with the 10 gold guineas from earlier.
Right. It's nothing in comparison.
Exactly. 150 rupees in small coins and notes is literally pocket change to a magistrate. But for Pandey, this is his entire life savings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It is money he scraped together through years of extreme hardship, literally snickering himself to save it. And he walks in and places this meager, pathetic little bundle right at the feet of the imposing Mr. G. Sinha.
And this right here is the pivot upon which the entire tragedy turns.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is where the story throws a massive curveball. The normally strict, unbending Mr. Sinha, the guy who just threw a wealthy man out of his office for offering gold, he actually accepts Pandey's bribe.
Yep, he takes it.
He takes the 150 rupees from the ragged old man. Wait, I'm really stuck on something here. Why would he do that? If Sinha's whole identity is built on being this proud, incorruptible pillar of the law, why risk it for what is essentially pocket change?
It's such a great question. And what's fascinating here is the underlying psychology of power and arrogance. We really have to look at how Sinha views these two different men.
Okay.
When the wealthy Satyadev offered the gold guineas, Sinha saw a peer. He saw a rich, powerful man trying to play the game, and Sinha's ego basically demanded that he prove he was above that game.
So it was a power move.
Exactly. He derived a massive sense of power from looking a rich man in the eye and saying no.
I see the distinction there, but that still doesn't explain taking the cheap coins from the poor man.
It all comes down to perceived threat. When Jagat Pandey walks in, frail, ragged, completely powerless, Sinha's pride actually blinds him.
Interesting.
He doesn't view the old Brahmin as a human being worthy of respect. And he certainly doesn't view him as a threat to his career. He looks at this desperate old man and thinks, I can take this money, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about it.
Wow. It's like a predator playing with its food.
Yes.
He doesn't take the bribe because he needs the money. He takes it because crushing this man's last ounce of hope is the ultimate flex of his authority.
That's it, exactly.
The cruelty is almost the point. He took it simply because he believed his legal impunity made him totally untouchable.
Precisely. It really highlights the sheer blinding arrogance that unchecked institutional power breeds.
And he really leans into that betrayal, too. He doesn't just quietly take the money and, rule in Pandey's favor anyway.
Oh, no.
The verdict comes down, and it is a breathtaking double cross. Sinha completely dismisses Jagat Pandey's case. He rules entirely in favor of the wealthy Lala Sahab.
And to add a final twisted insult to the injury, he actually orders Pandey to pay the court costs.
Oh man, it is just brutal. Pandey realizes in a flash that he has been entirely cheated. He lost his 10 because of land, he lost his legal case, and he has been robbed of his 150 rupees, his life savings, by the very judge who was appointed to deliver justice.
Furthermore, legally speaking, Pandey has zero recourse here. I mean, he can't exactly go to the local police and complain, I bribed a judge, and he didn't hold up his end of our corrupt bargain.
Right, you can't report a stolen bribe.
Exactly. The written law has completely failed him. Partly because he tried to circumvent it, sure, but mostly because the magistrate fully weaponized his authority to trap him.
But Pandey doesn't just go home and accept defeat. Knowing the legal system is a total dead end, he pivots to a completely different, much older kind of justice.
This is where things escalate.
Big time. He walks right outside Sinha's massive bungalow, finds a dense banyan tree, and just sets up camp. He stops eating, he stops drinking, and he spends his days telling every single person who walks by exactly how the joint magistrate stole his life savings.
He initiates a Dharna.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. You have this massive shift in the power dynamic. The magistrate has the police force, he has the courts, he has the wealth. Yet suddenly he is trapped inside his own home by a frail, starving old man just sitting under a tree.
It's an incredible image.
But wait, I have to challenge this a bit. Sinha is the joint magistrate. He literally has the legal authority to clear a trespasser.
Sure.
Why wouldn't Sinha just have the police forcibly remove him from the property? Why even indulge the old man at all?
Because removing him by force would only validate Pandey's claims in the eyes of the public.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we have to understand the actual mechanics of how a Dharna works.
Okay, lay it out for us.
It isn't just a protest. It is a full-scale weaponization of spiritual and communal morality.
How does just sitting there starving accomplish that, though?
Well, it leverages the concept of spiritual pollution and communal complicity. A Dharna specifically, a fast unto death right at the doorstep of an offender. It physically manifests the offender's hidden guilt for the entire community to see.
Oh, I see.
Pandey is essentially saying, my blood will be on your hands right here on your literal doorstep. And in a society deeply rooted in spiritual ties, the death of a Brahmin caused by a magistrate's greed, that isn't just a crime, it is a cosmic stain. It's an unpardonable sin.
Wow.
So if Sinha uses state violence, like if he calls the police to drag a starving, wronged holy man away, the community will instantly convict Sinha in the court of public opinion.
So the old man is effectively using his own dying body as a loudspeaker, and it's one that Sinha cannot unplug without looking like an absolute monster.
Exactly. The Dharna completely paralyzes the legal apparatus by invoking a higher, older moral law.
And we really see the weight of that cultural law in how the two characters inside the house react. I mean, Sinha tries to brush it off. He puts on this brave face, pretending he doesn't care, and he's relying heavily on his atheism and his modern rationality to shield him.
Right. He's projecting confidence.
Yeah, he tells himself it's just an old man throwing a tantrum. But Mrs. Sinha, she is reacting very differently. She is absolutely terrified.
Yes. And Mrs. Sinha's reaction is really the true barometer of the community's perspective.
How so?
Well, she isn't blinded by the arrogance of state power like her husband is. She believes deeply in the spiritual repercussions of a Brahmin's curse. She understands the social mechanics of their town, so she begs her husband to just give the 150 rupees back.
Just to pay him off.
Right. She warns him that if this old man actually dies at their door, it will bring total, irreversible ruin upon their entire house.
But Sinha's ego won't let him back down. He refuses to admit he was wrong. He waits, and this stubbornness leads us to the terrifying climax of the story.
It gets really dark here.
It does. It is now the 6th day of the fast. Pandey is near death. I mean, he's so weak he can't even speak properly. The situation is critical, and Sinha finally, reluctantly goes out to negotiate.
Yeah, because even his atheistic rationality has limits when faced with a public relations nightmare of this magnitude.
Right. But when he finally asks what it will take to break the fast, Pandey doesn't just ask for his 150 rupees back, he demands a staggering 5,000 rupees.
And we really have to pause and recognize what an astronomical sum that is in this context.
Okay, yeah.
If 150 rupees was a poor man's entire life savings, 5,000 rupees is generational wealth. It is an impossible, punishing number.
5,000 rupees, and Pandey just whispers that it is compensation for the ruin of his case, the loss of his land, and the insult to his pride.
Wow.
Sinha balks, naturally. He is furious. He actually hesitates and thinks to himself, well, let him die. But Mrs. Sinha, who has been watching this whole thing unfold, she completely panics.
The pressure just breaks her.
Completely. The thought of the curse becoming permanent pushes her right over the edge. She literally runs to her own safe, grabs a massive bundle of notes, and forces her husband to go back out with her to pay the old man.
And this is such a crucial psychological moment.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sinha is making this desperate transactional attempt to basically buy their way out of moral culpability.
So they go out and they hand the 5,000 rupees to Pandey. He manages to verify the amount with his fading vision. He tries to stand up. He tries to walk away with the bundle.
But he just can't.
No, his body gives out. The 6 days of starvation were just too much.
Wow.
He collapses and he dies right there on the spot, his hands clutching the money.
Oh, awful.
And then, in this incredibly dark, ironic twist, Sinha looks at the dead man, reaches down, and simply pries the bundle of 5,000 rupees right back out of the corpse's hands.
It is a chilling, grotesque image, and it seals their fate perfectly.
I mean, the dark irony is almost suffocating. They try to buy their way out of a curse, but because the transaction happens right as he takes his last breath, they essentially glue that guilt to themselves forever.
Exactly. And this raises an important question about the nature of restitution. Mrs. Sinha genuinely believed that financial payment could erase a moral failing.
Right, like paying a fine.
Yeah. She thought that if the ledger was balanced with 5,000 rupees, the universe and the village would just look the other way. But she entirely misunderstood the mechanism of the Dharna.
How so? Because, I mean, technically Pandey did accept the money. The debt was paid, right?
Yes, but Pandey's death, while physically holding their money on their property, serves as the ultimate, irrefutable proof to the entire community of Sinha's corruption.
Oh.
Think about it. Before this, it was just an old man's word against a powerful magistrate. The public might have had doubts, but now, the corpse is the evidence. By dying with the bribe money in his literal hands, Pandey leaves behind an undeniable testament to the magistrate's guilt.
So, what does this all actually mean for Sinha? We get to the final act of the story, which is the true Dan, the true punishment. Because, let's look at the facts here. Sinha doesn't go to jail.
Nope.
The British legal system doesn't turn on him. He doesn't get fired from his job as a magistrate. He even gets to keep his 5,000 rupees. So, in a twisted way, did he actually win?
Well, in the sterile eyes of the written law, perhaps he survived.
Yeah.
But in the court of societal law, he is utterly, comprehensively destroyed.
The fallout is immediate and just devastating. The sources describe Pandey's funeral procession being attended by thousands of people from the surrounding area, and every single one of them is actively cursing Sinhar's name.
It's a huge public spectacle.
And then the isolation begins.
Right. The community enacts a total social boycott.
Exactly. First, all of Sinha's servants quit. They are terrified of the social and spiritual backlash of working for a cursed man. Then, the entire infrastructure of his daily life just collapses. The washerman stops taking their clothes. The milkman flat out refuses to deliver milk to their house. The local barber won't serve them. I mean, Sinha has all the money and legal power in the world, but he literally cannot buy basic human cooperation.
And this is where Premchand brilliantly illustrates the profound difference between legal capital and social capital.
Oh, break that down for us, because I think that's the absolute core of the entire story.
Sure. So legal capital is what kept Sinha out of prison. It's his job title, his wealth, his alignment with the state apparatus. It is power enforced from the top down by police and courts.
Okay, makes sense.
But social capital, that is the invisible web of trust, respect, and mutual obligation that actually makes a community function on a day-to-day basis. Legal capital keeps you out of jail, but social capital is what gets your clothes washed and your milk delivered.
Wow. So the community essentially unionized against his humanity.
That is a perfect way to put it. By causing the death of Pandey, Sinha bankrupted his social capital overnight. The written law couldn't touch him, but the community enacted a punishment far more suffocating than a prison cell.
They subjected him to total social erasure.
Exactly. They looked at him and collectively decided, you no longer exist to us.
And this erasure isn't just the working class protesting him either. It extends to their own blood relatives.
Yeah, that part is wild.
The sources note that their extended family just stops visiting. At one point, a brother-in-law actually comes to the house, but he leaves without even drinking a single glass of water. He won't even accept water from them.
Which is huge. In that cultural context, accepting water from someone implies a level of social acceptance and spiritual purity.
Oh, I see.
The fact that his own brother-in-law refuses water is a profound insult. It is a formal declaration of shunning. It proves the curse has infected their very identity.
And then comes the final crushing blow. A full year passes. You'd think people might forget, or that the anger would cool down eventually.
Right, time heals all wounds, supposedly.
But it doesn't.
And if
The ultimate punishment lands not directly on Sinha, but on his innocent daughter. They are trying to arrange her marriage, and they cannot find a single family in the entire region willing to marry into theirs.
because marrying into that family means willingly inheriting that curse, adopting that social stigma for your own bloodline.
They become so desperate that they go to a man named Yashodanandan. This is a guy whose entire career, his entire livelihood, was personally built by Sinha. Sinha gave him his start. He owes the magistrate everything.
Surely he would say yes, right?
You would think, but even Yashodanandan bluntly, flatly refuses the match. The story ends with Mrs. Sinha left weeping, realizing that this curse, this isdand, hasn't just ruined their present comfort, it has destroyed their family's entire future.
It is in a devastating, masterful conclusion. I mean, Sinha kept his prestigious job, he kept his grand house, he kept his wealth, but he lost his humanity in the eyes of everyone around him. Premchand uses this story to prove a vital point. While the state holds the monopoly on legal violence, the society holds the monopoly on human connection. And losing that connection, being exiled while standing in your own home, is a fate far worse than death.
It really leaves you with a heavy, lingering thought. When we look at our modern, highly individualistic, and increasingly anonymous society, you have to wonder, have we lost this intense communal power?
It's a great question.
Do we still have the ability to hold untouchable, wealthy elites accountable through sheer, unified social willpower? Or has this powerful concept of village justice simply evolved into what we now casually dismiss as internet cancel culture? Is true justice actually found in the sterile environment of a courtroom, where high-priced lawyers argue technicalities? Or is it found in the collective eyes of our neighbors who judge us not by the letter of the law, but by the weight of our morality?
That is the exact question Premchand wants you asking yourself long after you finish reading.
It's something that really sticks with you. Imagine having all the power in the world, but no one to pour your milk.
Yeah, chillin'.
Before we wrap up, we want to remind you that this deep dive was brought to you by the Simplified Summary channel. We humbly ask you once more, if you found value in this conversation and want to help us keep decoding these incredible stories, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, and drop a comment down below.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, tell us your thoughts. Did Sinha ultimately get what he deserved? Is generational social isolation a fair punishment for his arrogance? We really want to hear your perspective. Thank you so much for exploring this deep dive with us.